こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、ブライトンの三笘薫に関する動画です。ブライトンは、直近でアストンビラに3対0で敗戦し、プレミアリーグでは6試合ぶりの敗戦、FA カップのノッティンガムフォレスト戦に続き、公式戦では2連敗となってしまいました。今回は、プレミアリーグ公式チャンネルの動画から、プレミアリーグの前節であったマンチェスターシティ戦の直前に作成されたもので、ブライトンの好調さについて特集している動画です。少し前の動画になってしまいますが、プレミアリーグにも直接確認の上、動画を表示しない形で引用させてもらえるかを確認中で、そのため動画は見れないように編集し、静止画を最低限に使用した形にしていますが、このような形でもプレミアリーグから NG ということであれば、この動画も消去する可能性がありますが、あらかじめご了承ください。ブライトンがプレミアリーグでノッティンガムフォレストに7対0で大敗してからの好調さは、リーグでもナンバーワンと言えるような状況で、何が変わったのか、ブライトンの好調さについて分析しているような動画ですが、結果として、三笘薫がいかに素晴らしいプレーヤーなのかを説明し続けるような内容になってしまっています。直近では公式戦2連敗してしまっていますが、その直前に作成されたものであることを前提に、どのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょう。
Look at this. Brighton are set up in a 4-1-5 with the midfield completely empty with the goalkeeper in possession. Now, if we fast forward to this moment, you can see these tactics led to the goalkeeper getting an assist for Mitoma. And if you look here, you might expect their furthest player forward to be a striker. However, if you look that little bit closer, you can see it's actually their defensive midfielder. So, what on earth is going on here? And after losing 7-0, how have these unique tactics helped Brighton win 4 Premier League games in a row? And to understand this upturn in form, we need to take a look at what went wrong against Nottingham Forest. These were Brighton's average positions against Nottingham Forest. Brighton were effectively playing an attacking 4-2-4 in this game, but this did cause some problems. Because with Brighton committing so many bodies to the attack, it often led to big open spaces in midfield for Nottingham Forest once they won possession. Forest played the ball into central areas frequently, looking to attack Brighton's biggest weakness. And that space in midfield, it was perfect for Forest because they want to play the ball quickly, and the Forest players, it gave them time to look for a forward pass and then play that pass quickly. And this, combined with the pace of the Forest attack, led to Brighton backpedaling towards their own goal. Forest easily entered Brighton's box, and it led to goals like this. But what has changed to stop this, and how has Herzler's tactics helped Brighton control games just that little bit better? So for the next game against Chelsea, Herzler made a slight tweak to the formation. This time he was opting for a flexible 5 at the back formation. The reason it was flexible was because right wing back Yankuba Minteh had an attacking role on the right hand side, but would also drop back into the defensive line, allowing Joel Veltman, the right-sided centre-back, to sit that little bit narrower. And this allowed Brighton to have a back 5 when they were out of possession. And you can see it in full effect here. Brighton formed a back 5 whilst also having a flat midfield 4. The key here is that the wingers of Brighton are slightly tucked in, making it very difficult for Chelsea to play a forward pass through those central areas. It forces Chelsea to play a pass out wide instead to the left back Marc Cucurella. And this was the trigger for Brighton to initiate a press. Forward Jorginho Rutter is coming from an angle which makes it impossible for Cucurella to play the ball back into a central area. So Cucurella then plays a long ball. And Minteh, in his defensive position here, can deal with this easily due to his quick recovery pace. But Fabian Herzler made another huge change following the Forest game as well. And that was the goalkeeper. Now this was Bart Verbruggen's pass map against Nottingham Forest. Now what you can see is that most of them were short yet accurate. He made 17 successful passes with 77% accuracy. But against Chelsea, he completely changed his approach, attempting a total of 35 passes with 17 of them being long balls. And it worked brilliantly as he even got himself a cheeky assist. And I do mean cheeky because he became one of a select few goalkeepers to register a Premier League assist. And this is how he did it. Verbruggen has the ball here, but he doesn't do anything with it yet. He actually slows the tempo down and waits for the Brighton defenders to get back into position. And this is because he wants to entice the Chelsea forwards and midfielders to press him, to come towards him, creating a big gap between the Chelsea midfield and the defence. And with the Chelsea players now attracted to the ball, it gives Verbruggen the opportunity to play it long over the Chelsea midfield, taking 6 players out of the game. And if you look a little closer, Brighton's back line is now a 4, and that's because Minter has now joined the attack as part of his flexible role, resulting in that 4-1-5 formation. And this is how Brighton famously vacate their midfield, a big part of Herzler's beliefs. Lamptey is keeping the width and pulls the Chelsea defender towards him. Verbruggen then goes long to Mitoma, who capitalises on the space created in behind. Now, I must stress that there was still a lot to do, and Mitoma's touch, it is outrageous. I'd call it disgusting, like in a good way. And he then just flippantly shifts the ball onto his stronger right foot and finds the back of the net with a great finish. Easy peasy. Fabian Herzler's tactics of emptying the midfield, it was also really effective in other attacks for Brighton. Minter is out wide and has the ball here. There are 4 other Brighton players up with him, one of which is Jack Hinshelwood, who played as a defensive midfielder in this game. And Hinshelwood is the furthest player forward for Brighton, taking up an auxiliary striker role in this instance. And this means that Danny Welbeck doesn't need to be in the box as a figurehead of the attack and can instead take up a position on the edge of the box. Minter has multiple choices and chooses to play a quick 1-2 with Welbeck, something that Welbeck has been fantastic at all season long, and it draws 3 Chelsea players towards him. Minter receives the ball back and finishes to make it 3-0. But Brighton have another unusual tactic that has created multiple chances in recent matches. You're going to spot it next time you watch them. Now, let me explain. João Pedro has the ball here and plays it to Jorginho Ruta. And instead of passing it along the floor, Ruta chips it over the defence for João Pedro, making it impossible for the Fulham players to cut out the pass. And this feels like a risky pass, but the genius of it is if that ball is in the air, you as a defender have to watch that ball go over your head. And if you're watching the ball, you're going to struggle to watch the man on your blind side making the run. And from this moment, João Pedro has a goal-scoring opportunity, and this should have been the first warning for Fulham. Even from a deeper position, these chipped vertical balls played in behind were causing serious problems for Fulham's defence as they struggled to read the flight of the ball. The long ball, which bypassed the midfield entirely, found Adingra in behind, but unfortunately, on this occasion, they were marginally offside. Kaoru Mitoma has 2 goals in 4 games since that 7-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest and is in great form in 2025. When taking on opponents, Mitoma has a few signature qualities that make him really stand out. The first is his body shape. You can see here how he is incredibly upright. It gives him a very neutral, balanced when he's dribbling, and it allows for a change in direction quickly when needed. And it also makes it difficult for the defenders to read which way he's going. He also approaches the defender at a 45-degree angle. This is important because it gives Mitoma the ability to cut inside or go wide based on the actions of the defender. Mitoma also has a trick that allows him to catch out defenders. Firstly, he waits for the Arsenal defender to slow down, and this is Mitoma's indication to accelerate. He plants his left foot next to the ball, which allows his right foot to poke the ball forward without breaking his stride, allowing him to go from this to this. And he can then play a dangerous ball across the box. Mitoma's ability to create chances from out wide has been a very useful tool for Brighton recently, with this assist against Manchester United being a perfect example. Mitoma's instincts to make the run early sees him catch out defenders all the time and exploit the space in behind. And if you combine that with this beautiful first touch to control the ball, and you're in for some fun. And this is where you see Mitoma's awareness and deception come into play. Andre Onana is focused on Mitoma here because Mitoma is looking directly at the goalkeeper, which suggests to Onana that he's about to shoot. But Mitoma is fully aware of Danny Welbeck's positioning and plays it across to him for an easier chance. This goal against Ipswich is a great example of how Mitoma's attacking instincts create space for him. Now, although the ball is over on this side, as you can see here, actually, the person I want you to focus on is Mitoma, all the way over on the other side. Now, as this develops, the play makes its way down into this corner here with a clever little pass. And it's something that Brighton, in terms of looking to get in behind the opposition, it's something they're always trying to do. And you can see here, Both Ayari and Matt O'Reilly, both really keen for that pass from Joel Veltman to be played into that area. Joel Veltman does exactly that, but Mitoma completely out of it at this stage. If we move it on, you then see that Mitoma starts to make his run. Now, most people would think that he's looking to get himself here to that 6-yard box where he can get right on the corner at the back post and affect the game. But no, he actually makes a very different run. And as they get to this really dangerous area here with Ayari, you know that pullback's coming. So he wants to have as much space as possible when the time is right for him to get involved. So as we move it on, you see that actually it's a very different run to what you'd expect. We zoom in, you can see from his body position here, it's not driving to that 6-yard line. It's actually coming to more so the penalty spot. And that's to create that bit of separation between him and his defender and to go where the space is. And that is what Mitoma does so well in terms of understanding the attacking aspects of the game, the flow of the other players and where he needs to be. And here's another great example here, because if you zoom in, what you see is, again, even just continuing his run, now he stays nice and upright. Right. His body language isn't moving forward. It's going backwards to retain that gap between himself and the defenders around him. And so he now has so much space. Really well worked by Brighton. But if Mitoma gets involved too early, doesn't get his timing right, then maybe the opportunity doesn't realise itself. And once he gets the ball, it's a really, really clever finish in the only corner it could be. Great finish from Mitoma, but him being able to score that goal comes from the space that he created and the space that he stayed out of. So we've seen the ability of Mitoma from a really wide starting position, but he's also incredibly effective in those half spaces as well. As you can see from this goal against Southampton, what you see is the bravery of this Brighton side in the passes that they play, but also the understanding in particular of Mitoma to sense what's happening and be on the move and be ready. In this instance, we see him right here in a half space instead of being as wide as possible as we've seen him in the last goal against Ipswich. And you can see right here, Van Hecker's about to pass the ball over to Webster. Estupinian's going to make his way out to be that little bit wider. And so this half space is available for Mitoma to stay in. But its movements and counter movements are so important because once the ball moves on, Webster's got the ball and there are decisions that can be made. And this defender here is probably had a bit of a torrid day anyway, is slightly concerned because Mitoma's starting to peel away to make that movement. And that means that quite possibly, is Webster going to hit that ball into the channel like we've seen him previously do? Or is he going to pass? Is he going to open up and pass the ball to Estupinian out wide? He ends up doing none of those. He ends up doing a fantastic pass into Jorginho Ruta. And the pass cuts through so many players. And it's something that we don't see a lot. But there's a bravery to that ability to just punch that ball through so many different players and take them out the game. But look who knows what's going on. Mitoma. Mitoma has already started to accelerate. He's turned the right way instead of, let's say, the wrong way in this instance, which would have been over here, making that run into the channel. And now he can have dialogue with Jorginho Ruta. And by being able to pop off the ball first time, it means that Mitoma can use that pace that he's got to steal a march on the defence, and he's going to leave them for dead. So Mitoma's through on goal, but can he finish? Of course he can. And finish fantastically. What he does so well is that he's able to get away from those Southampton defenders with the pace and the dribbling ability that he has. But as he moves forward, he then slows down just a touch to freeze the goalkeeper somewhat. And then the finish is absolutely stunning. He chips the goalkeeper. It's who blinks first, and on this occasion Mitoma just had that beautiful bit of quality that allowed him to chip the goalkeeper and get the goal. Brighton now sit only 1 point behind Manchester City. Let us know, do you think they finish in the top 4?
次は解説です。一人で解説しながらナレーション的に話しているスタイルで、強いアクセントもない英語ですので、リスニングは簡単だったかと思います。便利なボキャブラリーも多かったので、解説も少し長めですが、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。He wants to entice the Chelsea forwards and midfielders.
エンタイスは、 何か魅力的なものを提示して相手に行動を促すときに使う動詞で、例えば広告やセール、または誰かをある場所や行動に引きつけたいときに使います。誘惑すると訳されることもありますが、ネガティブな意味合いは強くなく、むしろ魅力で引き寄せるという前向きな使い方が多く、実際の会話やビジネスシーン、マーケティングなどでもよく使われる単語です。類義語には、アトラクト、テンプト、ルアーなどがありますが、ニュアンスに違いがあるので使い分けも大事です。
He wants to entice the Chelsea forwards and midfielders. He wants to entice the Chelsea forwards and midfielders. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy は日常会話や軽いジョークの中でよく使われる砕けた表現で、簡単すぎて笑っちゃうような気持ちで使うのがポイントです。PG は単体では使われませんが、Easy の響きから作られた造語です。もともとは子供向けの言い方ですが、大人同士でもフレンドリーな場面では普通に使われます。フォーマルな場では避けますが、友達との会話やカジュアルなブログ、TikTok などでもよく聞きます。
Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Doesn't need to be in the box as a figurehead of the attack and...
フィギュアヘッドは、表向きはリーダーの立場にあるものの、実際には決定権や影響力を持っていない人を指す言葉です。例えば、立憲君主制の国における国王や女王、または会社の肩書きだけの会長などが該当し、実際に物事を動かしているのは別の人、という時にこの言葉が使われます。また、チームや活動の顔となる人物、つまり象徴的存在という意味でも使われ、ネガティブな意味にもポジティブな意味にもなり得るので、文脈で判断が必要です。
Doesn't need to be in the box as a figurehead of the attacking. Doesn't need to be in the box as a figurehead of the attacking without breaking his stride.
Without breaking one's stride は動きを止めることなく、リズムを乱さずにといった意味で使われる、とても自然な英語表現です。もともとはランナーなどが走るテンポを崩さずに動作を続けるという場面で使われますが、日常会話やビジネス、スピーチの中では中断せずにやり遂げる、流れに乗ったままやるという比喩表現として使われることも多いです。例えば、難しい質問をされても冷静に答えるときや、プレゼン中にハプニングがあっても動じないときなど、動き、ペース、集中が途切れないことを表現します。
Without breaking his stride. Without breaking his stride. He sees him catch out defenders all the time.
キャッチアウトは、誰かのミス、油断、裏をつくといった状況で使われる非常にリアルな表現です。スポーツ中継では、ディフェンダーの裏をかくというような場面で、試験や面接などでは、質問で本質をついて困らせるという形で使われ、嘘や隠し事を暴く場面でも登場します。その人が予期していないタイミングや状況で行動や失敗をつくという含みがあるため、相手の隙をつくようなニュアンスが含まれています。文脈によっては、ポジティブにもネガティブにもなり得る多義的な表現です。
He sees him catch out defenders all the time. He sees him catch out defenders all the time. And you're in for some fun.
Be in for は、何かがこれから待ち受けているという未来の出来事への予告を意味する便利なイディオムで、文脈によってポジティブにもネガティブにもなり得るのが特徴です。例えば、すごく良いものが待ってるよというワクワクのニュアンスを持った使い方や、面倒なことになるぞという警告としての使い方もあります。ネイティブの自然な会話で品質するので、使いこなせるとかなりこなれた英語になり、映画やドラマでもよく耳にする表現です。
And you're in for some fun. And you're in for some fun. Matoma's awareness and deception come into play.
デセプションは、相手を欺いたり、意図的に誤った印象を与えることを指す名詞です。日常会話では詐欺や裏切りなどネガティブな文脈でよく使われますが、スポーツや心理戦のような場面では、フェイントや見せかけ、巧みなごまかしといったポジティブなニュアンスにもなります。例えば、サッカーの文脈では、相手を欺く巧妙な動きや、フェイントを意味し、戦術やテクニックとして肯定的に解釈されることもある非常に奥深い単語です。
Matoma's awareness and deception come into play. Matoma's awareness and deception come into play. Because Matoma's starting to peel away to make that movement.
Peel away は直訳の皮がめくれるから発展して、グループや列、密集状態からすっと離れるという意味で使われる駆動詞です。特にスポーツの場面でよく使われ、例えばサッカーやバスケなどで、ディフェンスラインから抜け出す。マークを外して別の動きをするなどの場面で登場します。また、軍事やドローン操作、車の逃走劇など、集団やラインから一つだけ動きが変わるときにもよく使われ、意図的で機敏な動きというニュアンスがあります。
And because Matoma started to peel away to make that movement, and now he can have dialogue with Jorginho Rutter.
ダイアログ with は誰かとの対話という意味の少し固めの表現で、交渉、政治、ビジネスなどフォーマルな文脈でよく使われます。スポーツの場面や比喩的な使い方では、言葉を使わない連携、無言の理解、動きで通じ合うといったニュアンスも含まれます。つまり、単なる会話だけでなく、意思が通じ合っている状態を表現できる便利な言葉です。
And now he can have dialogue with Jorginho Rutter. To steal a march on the defense.
スティール・エマーチオンは、他人が気づかないうちに先手を打つ。一歩リードするという意味で、ビジネス、スポーツ、受験、政治など幅広い分野で使える便利な表現です。重要なのは、気づかれずにこっそりと先を行くというニュアンスがあることで。例えば、製品のリリース時期を早めたり、試合中に相手の隙をついて抜け出したりする場面ではぴったりの表現です。フォーマル寄りの表現ですが、映画やスポーツ解説などでもよく耳にする熟語です。
To steal a march on the defense, and he's going to leave them for dead.
Leave someone for dead は、もともと死んだものとみなしてそのまま放置するという重い意味の表現ですが、スポーツや比喩的な文脈では圧倒的な差をつける。完全に抜き去るという意味で使われ、例えば、ドリブルで相手を抜いたときに、相手は全く追いつけなかったくらいのニュアンスで使われます。また、ビジネスの競争や技術革新の場面でも、強烈なインパクトを伝えたいときに使われる表現です。
And he's gonna leave them for dead. He chips the goalkeeper. It's who blinks first.
ブリンクファーストは、睨み合いのような緊張した場面でよく使われるイディオムです。誰が先に折れるかという心理的な駆け引きを表し、スポーツ、交渉、駆け引きの中で品質します。例えば PK の場面やゴール前の1対1で、どちらが先に動くかが重要な時にぴったりの表現です。ネイティブが好んで使う表現で、コンパクトながら意味が深いフレーズです。
He chips the goalkeeper. It's who blinks first. He chips the goalkeeper. It's who blinks first.
いかがでしたか？ブライトンの好調さの説明、ノッティンガムフォレスト戦から変更した点なども理解はできますが、それ以上に、その中で結局は三笘薫がいつも違いを作っている、とさえ思えるような内容で、結果として、三笘薫を褒め続けているだけの動画にも感じないでしょうか。あのゴールも、このゴールも、三笘の素晴らしいスキルとテクニック、素晴らしいチームプレーの理解力、素晴らしいポジショニング、素晴らしいランニングと走り出しのタイミング、三笘の素晴らしさをすべて上げ切ろうとさえ感じるこの動画を、なんとかこのチャンネルでも扱いたいと思っていました。簡単ではないものの、どういう形であれば動画を引用できるのかをプレミアリーグとも話をしているので、可能であれば、今後もこのような動画を扱えるように頑張りたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。